you can see exactly what their track is going to be. As she just mentioned, they're going to head up to the suburbs and show you the number 2 area with the most crashes. We'll be here again in about 25 minutes at 9 o'clock. Let's take a live look now over at Michigan State University this morning. And while school is out for the summer, and thus they're taking summer classes, the university is still helping close cold cases. We're talking about a collaboration that's turning Michigan State classrooms into crime-solving hubs. Students from MSU have helped crack a nearly 3-decade-old murder case working alongside actual Michigan State police detectives. This is not the first time either. It's a second major breakthrough case for this cold case partnership that is changing lives on both sides. A dusty box of case files, a body in a Blissfield Township cornfield, and 28 years of silence. In 1997, a man only known as John Doe was found murdered. Police think it was tied to drug trafficking and had an idea who might have killed him, but the case went cold with few answers and no one held responsible. Until now, thanks in part to students.
I think it could kind of be important to look at a case like this with fresh eyes, because when it goes cold, however many years ago, opening that back up can, especially with the interns, like I said, can get a set of fresh eyes on it. And you could either see things that have been missed before.
So MSP Detective Sergeant Larry Rothman and MSU Professor Allison Rojek created the MSU-MSP Cold Case Collaboration, pairing criminal justice students with detectives to rework cold cases, seeing if any new evidence can come to light.
It's like when we get it, it's like all in boxes, it's all like files, and you take them and you're like running them through a scanner to digitize them for like future detectives to like work on it. So, it's work that detectives don't have the time for, but like it's valuable to like lay the groundwork of cases when they're working on them in the future.
The students just didn't scan papers, though. They retraced the victim's final moments, all while having their opinions respected.
From the very first day, detectives came in and told us, like, we take you seriously. Your opinion is valued. You're here for a reason. We're not just kind of babysitting you and giving you something to do and put on your resume. Like, you have value here, and with that job comes a lot of responsibility.
The hard work paid off, and nearly 30 years later, Michael and Ricardo Sepulveda were arrested for John Doe's murder. And while this cold case ended with an arrest, those involved in the project know that won't always be the case. Now, it's not the epic break in the case students were expecting, but one of the men police believed was involved turned himself in. That allowed witnesses to feel safe and come forward.
It makes you realize that, these were real people that lived real lives.
This is the second cold case the MSU-MSP partnership has helped close, something that is not lost on Professor Rojek.
There's a lot of different ways that we define success in cold case. This is a second case that the unit has been involved in solving, that students have been involved in, which is amazing. But there's other cases that are, in a better position or more forward than they were when, like Seth said, you pull them out of a box and you start to organize them and start to make progress on them. So a lot of different ways that we define success, but the second cold case solved is also really, really awesome for the unit.
Now, last year, Michael Sepulveda took a guilty plea and is serving 10 to 30 years in prison, while Ricardo was convicted of murder earlier this year. He's going to be sentenced tomorrow and could face life in prison without parole. Joining me right now live to talk more about this program is the actual Detective Sergeant Larry Rothman with the Cold Case Unit of the MSP. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I wanted to ask you, this collaboration is amazing, not only for the students, but for you as well. How did this idea come about?
Well, this is not a new idea. Back in 2000, during COVID, I was tasked with creating a cold case unit in our first district for MSP, and quickly learned that this is not a one-man show. I need some help. Just like any other law enforcement agency, we're kind of hurting for people, and so I reached out to MSU, their School of Criminal Justice, and got several calls back. And that's kind of how the collaboration started.
You can see how excited the students are in their interviews talking about what they're working on. But do you feel that instantly when, students, whether they're undergrad or graduate, get to come and work on actual files with you?
It's very exciting. I've got about 26 years in the department, And, someone with this much time sometimes loses your passion and your zeal for things. But the students coming in, they really, they make me realize I have a really good job. And it's an honor to be able to work alongside them. They bring some encouragement, excitement. Their youthfulness is contagious. It's a win-win for not only MSP, but for MSU and the students as well.
Yeah, we talked about it in the story leading up to this interview with you here. It seems like there could easily be a dynamic where, the seasoned official detectives like you, and you've got these kids working alongside you. But it sounds like you and all of your colleagues there are pretty open to hearing what they have to say.
Well, just like it was mentioned earlier, we take their opinions seriously. They come in, they're criminal justice students. They may not have the practical experience that we have, but they bring a different set of eyes, like it was stated. And we treat them like young detectives when they get into the unit. They're handling some pretty serious information. They have access to, a lot of the stuff that we deal with every day. So we have to treat them as kind of partners in this, or we're not going to get very far.
A lot of times when we see in the movies or in the dramas on television where homicides are solved in an hour, there's a cliche always about having a fresh set of eyes on things. Does that really make a difference, or can it in some of these cases?
It does, and these collaborations, we're not the only one in the state that are doing these collaborations, but we certainly don't want to deter from all the hard work that detectives have done over the years. Sometimes it's just a matter of, in this case, someone coming forward or new technologies. Mm-hmm. It doesn't diminish the work that has been done for years and years on these cases, because some great detectives, great departments have worked on these cases over the years. But those new set of eyes, especially, a lot of our students are interested in this type of work. So they've been listening to podcasts and Forensic Files and all those sorts of shows, and they bring unique ideas and perspectives that maybe sometimes we haven't thought of.
So now that you've been doing this for a few years, then, have you had the opportunity to work with some of these students and then see them go down a career path, whether it's into, becoming a police officer or working behind the scenes in forensic labs and working on projects like this and cases like this?
Yes, we've had several of our interns working for the federal law enforcement agencies. One is going to be starting MSP recruit school. I think one works for MSU, one works for Nashville PD down in Tennessee. So a lot of our interns, are off starting their career in law enforcement, not indirectly because of what we've done, and we seem to light a passion underneath them to pursue this type of work.
That must feel really incredible for you to see what you're doing there, not only helping with the cases, but also kind of getting students introduced to a field that they probably already were interested in, but now to see them go down a career path where not saying it's time for you to retire, but these young ones are going to be, that's what you need.
It is. These kids are sometimes younger than my own kids. And it's really nice to see. It's like raising another kid, and it's wonderful to see them get out on their own and be able to start applying for jobs and I get a lot of calls for people that want references and things like that from our interns. So it's been really good thing for like I said, for both MSP and for MSU. But like I said earlier, this is not our only collaboration that MSP is partnered up with. We have other universities in the state that are also partnered up with MSP doing very similar work.
All right, Larry, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for the project, because, again, I think those kids are getting experience that they wouldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, take care.